Redditors who went to school with a celebrity, what were they like before they became rich and famous? Frank Abagnale is my dad's cousin. We were at a family wedding and he was telling us, double quote, "Yeah, they're making a movie about my life. Leonardo DiCaprio is playing me. He's a professional liar." So we all just laughed at him. Then Catch Me If You Can came out. The guy is just too smooth. I watched a video of him speak at Google and noticed he never says or It was a speech, but is this the way he speaks casually? Zac Efron went to a neighboring high school. He dated a girl from my school for a while. I remember him coming to some school dances. My wife was also in his grade at his school. He was a bit nerdy, but a nice guy. Pretty much just a normal dude from nowhere that ended up mega famous. I went to Northwestern W. David Schwimmer. He lived with my best friend in a house after graduating. He's an outstanding actor with a huge range, so only actor ever to make me tear up in the middle of a play. Too bad he's been so typecast now. Nice guy. My high school theater director knew David Schwimmer, so we were able to acquire the rights to perform his play, Trust, at our school. He even came to one of the performances. I wasn't in the play, but I did set construction. Unfortunately, I wasn't at the performance he came to. In the words of my year 12 classics teacher, Kylie Minogue was really smart and lovely. Danny Minogue was just lovely. Apostrophe. I don't know who either of those people are, but I really like that quote. Kylie Minogue is a huge global pop star everywhere except America. She tried to break into the American market a few times. Hits like Locomotion and Can't Get You Out of My Head were two notable U.S. hits. Her sister Danny Minogue is known more for her acting than her singing, but she's been successful in her own right. My grandma went to the same high school as James Dean. Said he was chill and charismatic. Was kinda CCKY as a result though, because he knew he was hot stuff. My dad used to be a punk drummer in California. Knew Green Day when they were first starting out. He said the bandmates were cool, but the lead singer was a pouty BTCH that would often cancel or storm off if people he didn't like were at concerts parties. Didn't have thick skin when it came to some criticism either. Not a super famous connection, but Avril Lavigne, Canadian musician, was the bat girl for my baseball team. She was a cute kid and respectful. It was years later when she had a hit song that I realized it was actually her. Since when is Avril not that famous? Since she died and they cloned her dup. James Corden. God, was he a show off. When a bunch of 10-11-year-old kids are trying to get a school play together, it helps if you don't start making up your own lines and throwing everyone into a state of utter confusion. Excellent. I'm always pleased when my random loathing of somebody is ratified by anecdote. Corden has one of the worst reps going. So I'm surprised you haven't found things earlier. His own parents staged an intervention over his foul behavior. Cool. A topic I can contribute to. Went to high school with John Legend. He was a year older than me. He was clearly very talented. Lead role in most school plays, musical acts at talent shows, etc. But he was basically just a really nice, humble guy. I wasn't friends with him, but I was an athlete who hung out with the theater crowd. I helped on set construction and sound for shows. He was a basketball fan and came to most of our school's games. His cousin was also on the team and a year younger than me. I went to high school with Hayden Christensen before he was in Star Wars. He was artsy and seemed shy. Spent his time in the drama department. And was a nice guy from every memory I have. My dad went to school with Vanilla Ice. He said he was nice. You meant for that to rhyme, didn't you? My ex-mother-in-law was close friends with Johnny Knoxville. Except everyone around here calls him PJ. He absolutely adores her father. So anytime he came into town, he's visit my ex-wife's grandfather, who happened to live next door to my ex-mother-in-law. She said he was just a sweet, goofy kid growing up who was always doing stunts even back then. He used to wear a football helmet around for his stunt work or something like that. In a hoe. He came in town for his parents' 50th and we were all invited. Then we hung around outside and walked around, and I got to say, I don't know any celebrities, but I've heard they can be DCKS fans. Looking at you, Daniel Craig. You Bondly sob. You. This just cannot be said about PJ. He's just as friendly after 3 hours of fans stopping him as he was the first fan of the night. He smiles from ear to ear. Gives each fan a great big hug. Takes pictures with them. Gives them that Johnny Knoxville laugh. And just genuinely appreciates their support. He's just an all-around nice guy from the sticks. Chloe Moritz is from my hometown but is a good bit younger than I am. She went to my ballet school briefly and her family was friends with one of my best friend's family growing up. So I was around her a good bit. She would have been maybe 6-8 at the time and she was just a cute, polite, kind of shy kid. There was some drama that caused her family to move to Atlanta and then New York. And I remember her older brother was the ham of the family that wanted to get into acting first. I was surprised when I heard that she was the one who'd gotten famous out of them. The gaudy McMansion her dad had built at the front lot of the local rich people subdivision still sits vacant, and one time my friends and I got drunk and went skinny dipping in the Moritz pool in high school. I don't mean to sound snarky. It really is a weird house. This thread has a lot more positive stories than I was expecting. I know, right? It's kind of refreshing. Not directly me, but my middle school maths teacher used to teach Heath Ledger through his high school and always told us about how he misses him. Very bright personality and much of a joker, pun not intended, he was. Apparently he was always trying to impress the girls. It's not about the girls. It's about sending a message. Not a celebrity. But I went to middle school with a guy named Kyle. Kyle, if you're reading this, I fucking hate you. You better give me my Game Boy back, you little squirt. I know that you have a crush on Sarah, and I swear if I don't have that Game Boy in my hands by Tuesday night, I'm gonna tell ya. I went to high school with Sean White. He wasn't ever around because he already had a bunch of contracts and was already traveling Lomeo. He also bought his mom a house at 15 Ike. Lena Dunham was very unfunny in middle high school, but otherwise just sort of awkward. I don't get the impression she changed so much as people started listening to her. And X200B. Jemima Kirk was dumb as rocks. I don't know why people felt a need to let Lena Dunham count as affirmative action funny when these days there are plenty of legitimately excellent female comedians. Lena Dunham is funny. If you've been living under a rock for so long that you can't imagine the concept of a comedically talented woman. Not only are they out there, they're not even rare. If you say women aren't funny in 2019, you're not just sessists, or you're also an idiot, or but Dunham is not funny and really not notably talented in anything. To be honest, she just had parents who knew people who could give her a career. And if she's the voice of my generation, I'm having my telomeres aged 2 years so I can claim a 1981 birthday and pass as Gen X. Kit Jon Snow Harrington went to the same 6th form college as me. Year below me. Super quiet and shy. Literally the last person you'd think would end up being famous. I went to high school with Joe Keery. I wasn't personally friends with him but had a few classes here and there, and he was relatively well known in our class. Then again, in a class of 150 people it's more unusual not to know somebody. He was always very nice and friendly. The complete opposite of Steve at the start of S1 of Stranger Things. I'm really glad to see him succeed as much as he has and wish him all the best in his career, which we will watch with great interest. I went to high school with Emily Ratajkowski. She is a year older than me and was in a grade above me. We weren't friends ourselves, but she was friends with a lot of people I was friends in. In no way did I know her well, but I remember she was always smiling and very nice. The most memorable thing though, is I had her dad as my art teacher for a semester when I was a sophomore. He had been with the school for so many years and I think he retired the year after I had him. My high school was relaxed as fact that he was the ultimate DGAF teacher. He would take attendance and then leave for the rest of the class. Came back 5 minutes prior and would take attendance again. He was a super nice guy. Very talented. Back to Emily though. The only thing I truly remember from her in high school is she was cute but not like damn. She had gnarly eyebrows. Not in a bad way at all. They were just intimidating but also really cute in a way. Great girl, from what I could tell, and I'm happy she's big and famous now. Tom Hanks was in this Midwestern theater troupe, way before he got famous, that visited my mom's high school. I believe it was a specific workshop for the school's theater department, where the students got to work with the visiting actors. She and her friend both thought he was the best one in the troupe and also thought he was insanely nice. Edit. This was in Doylestown, Ohio if anyone's curious. Close bracket. I always breathe a sigh of relief when someone confirms how nice Tom Hanks is. He's the one celebrity I'd be so disappointed by if a Me Too type thing came out about him. Or if there were stories of him being a major asshole. Not really a celebrity. But my brother went to high school with Terrell Suggs at Chandler High. He was dirt poor. And would go around asking people for french fries during lunchtime. And my bro would buy him food, etc. As they were good friends. I remember he came from a poor family. And would always tell us his dream was going to the NFL. He just knew he was going to make it. And everyone else did too. I was in Drake's class for grades 1-4. We weren't super tight. But we got along okay. His mother was always taking him out of school to go to auditions. And TBQH. It never really seemed he was feeling the whole stage kid thing back then. Not that he seemed to hate it. Just that to him it seemed more like an errand his mother often took him on. Though he later seemed to grow into it. So good on him. Close bracket. I haven't seen him since then. So I don't know what he's like IRL these days. And I hope he's happy with whatever he's up to. But I will say that I am totally incapable of buying his stage persona. I remember little Aubrey Graham as, if anything, kind of a goody two-shoes. Quick to remind other kids of rules nobody else saw them breaking. Inclined to take the teacher's side if he overheard other kids complaining about her. That kind of thing. Assuming he wasn't faking an accent the entire time he went to elementary school, I gather that is not, in his case, a safe assumption. I can also confirm that Buddy's natural accent and dialect is indistinguishable from any other middle-class white kid from Toronto. Not sure if it really counts. But I played Modern Warfare 2 with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain when I was younger. I didn't really know him. He was good friends with a guy I played with regularly. They went to the same school. Only played with him a handful of times. Was never online much. Seemed like a pretty normal teenager. Was pretty sound TBH. Obviously I had no clue who he was. My friend said he played for the Southampton youth team. I kind of fanboyed when I saw him play in a Southampton game for the first time though. My mom went to school with Hillary Clinton's daughter and she said that Chelsea was kinda a snobby BTCH. Mom said she couldn't stand her. Lol. My friend went to school with Maisie Williams who used to bully him for being fat. Interesting since she claims to be bullied. People can bully and be bullied. But according to my friend she was always a snob who showed off about having been to acting school, being in certain productions, etc. He's still friends with her on her private Facebook though. Just for bragging rights. My close friend sis high school was the rival of the high school that Ariana Grande went to in Florida. Her high school was considered the rich kids school. Apparently she was pretty popular. Was always involved with, and good at, music and theater, but was completely stuck up and kind of mean. Not sure if this is true, but that's what the rumors were. She left at some point to go beyond victorious. Went to school with a guy who is in the WWE. Bo Dallas. His real name is Taylor Rotunda. He was pretty outgoing and popular but very polite and respectful. I can't speak for others but he was always very nice to me. He did once headbutt a kid without saying a word because he was making fun of a kid with special needs. So the story goes. Anyway. I watched it happen so can confirm the headbutting. But the story behind it is what was told to me. Ninja went to my high school, and although I didn't know him personally, it was funny the day we asked my math teacher senior year if she remembers Tyler Blevins, and she said yes of course. And asked why does the entire class know who he is and why do they call him Ninja though? Edit, the streamer. Not Ninja from Die Untoward. She's not super famous yet, but she's on the brink. Olivia Cook. She recently played the lead girl in Ready Player One, and she was the love interest in Bates Motel. Sat next to me for 5 years in school because our surnames are very similar. She was my high school crush, but I had no confidence. Chubby. Lame blah blah, you know the drill. She was super nice and well liked by everyone. Once we played a school talent show gig together. The highlight of my performance career. Absolutely thrilled that she's doing so well for herself. Our town is notorious for being kinda shitty, so I'm glad someone from there made something of themselves.